Welcome to SVG TV News for Thursday, February 16th, 2023. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. This country's Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, and Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, were reportedly forced to leave the VIP section of the Cheddi Jagan International Airport in Guyana for the regular check-in area to be able to get onto their flight out of the country for the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting in the Bahamas. We hear more on what has been deemed as an embarrassed diplomatic situation in this report from News Source Guyana.
Having already protested an American Airlines policy to have senior government officials make their way to the counter check-in area for their departure flights instead of an agent visiting them in the VIP section of the Cheddi Jagan Airport, the government of Guyana now intends to write to American Airlines over its treatment of two visiting Caribbean prime ministers during their departures. Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves were forced to leave the VIP section of the airport for the regular check-in area to be able to get on their flight out of Guyana. The two prime ministers were in Guyana for the opening of the Energy Conference yesterday. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs offered its apologies to the two prime ministers and lashed out at American Airlines over its disregard of previously planned protocols. According to the Foreign Affairs Ministry, all government protocols were in place to facilitate the departure of the two heads of government. And despite American Airlines having been written to prior to the arrival of the prime ministers in Guyana for them to be accorded the courtesies of check-in from the VIP lounge, the airline refused to acquiesce to the ministry's request and insisted that the prime ministers leave the lounge to present themselves to the check-in counter. The ministry said the government of Guyana had previously protested the position taken by American Airlines against its own high and senior government officials, but the airline has continued to pay scant regard to the government's request for entitlements to the positions held to be respected. The Foreign Affairs Ministry said it is now the government's intent to formally communicate its displeasure of the most recent action by American Airlines, which has caused embarrassment not only nationally but also to its regional friends. Other airlines would send agents to the VIP lounge for check-in purposes of dignitaries and other special guests. American Airlines operates daily flights between Guyana and the U.S. The two prime ministers left Guyana for Miami for a connecting flight to the Bahamas to attend the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting.
And back here at home, the Ministry of Agriculture will on Tuesday, February 21st, at the Chumuka Primary School from 4:30 p.m. launch the National Farm Assistance Program. Minister of Agriculture Supporter Cesar said they have already spoken to a number of farm owners, and at the launching event, they will open the registration process for those interested in receiving assistance through the program.
Farmers, you have lands, very important. You have some money to start the replanting process, but you need a little assistance. And I want to thank the donors for providing the sum of $800,000 to be made available to the farmers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. After the launch on Tuesday, the 21st of February, we are going to, throughout the country, have different places where the farmers can go and register. This program that we are continuing on Tuesday, the ministry started a smaller version of this program approximately 6 months ago. And you are aware that in different areas, different districts, the government, the Ministry of Agriculture, we are sending in teams of persons with weed trimmers to clear lands, with augers to prepare the lands for the planting of dasheen. The tractor service initiative is ongoing.
Minister Cesar said as they roll out the $10 million World Bank program, that by December this year, there should be about 250 young people across the country adding mechanization to food production.
Remember when we distributed the first 40 hand tillers, when we had the interview with the technicians, and they noted that lands which will take 2 or 3 weeks to be prepared, if you're using a hoe and a cutlass or a scoop, that if you utilize the services of a hand tiller, instead of taking 2 and 3 weeks, it can be done in 2 or 3 days. We are working to ensure that we advance productivity in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Over the past 3 weeks, we were able to obtain many new markets, and in order for us to satisfy these markets, we have to increase our production. I'm taking this opportunity to encourage the youth of our country. You have to get involved. The usage of a weed trimmer, a hand tiller, an auger, the provision of greenhouses, and the passing on of significant technology so that you can have the skill sets and build your capacity is definitely of first importance.
Over the past 3 weeks, officials from the Ministry of Agriculture have been going out into the communities to meet with farmers to discuss a range of issues, including on the national drive for dashing production. Minister Caesar said thus far they have met with over 1,000 food producers across the country. Work on the Sandy Bay Sea Defense project is expected to commence in a few months' time, with just over $7 million EC dollars allocated in the budget for the project, which has an overall cost of approximately $45 million. On the radio yesterday, Acting Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for the North Windward area, Montgomery Daniel, say the work to be carried out on the project will be done with 3 lots, with bids already gone out for lots 1 and 3.
The bids went out approximately 3 or so weeks ago, and within the next 4 or 5 weeks, of course, that the bids will return to the office of the NDM, and of course the assessment will be done. And we are hoping that actual work will start somewhere around June, July. Now, the question will be asked, why only what lot 1 and 2? Well, lot 1 and 3. But the geography of that area would allow works to be done on lot 1 and 3 at the moment. And so that lot 2 would have to be used as a point where you can access lots 1 and 2.
Okay.
Lots 1 and 3. So at around the end of this year, the bids will be established for lot 2, and taking into consideration the time period, of course, where bids, assessments, and of course having a contract and so on, again another 6 to 8 months. So we are looking at where works again will start somewhere mid next year on lot 3.
Minister Daniel said the Sea Defense project is important to Sandy Bay, noting that the erosive nature of the sea has been taking its toll on the area over the years. Meanwhile, Minister Daniel said the Ministry of Transport and Works will continue this year with the National Disaster Management Risk Reduction and Climate Adaptation Project, which has a total cost of approximately $40 million. And this year, they will be spending about $9.2 million on the project, which will see work carried out on a number of roads throughout the country.
And this is a project that would have work done on the Zenga River Bridge to Maroon Hill, the Union River Defense and Bridge, the Yambu Tiviot River, the bridge to Chapman's, the rehabilitation of the Dixon Village Road, and the bridge and the Perseverance Road. That is very outstanding for quite some time. Of course, the Perseverance Road, it was in 2016 that we had that trough system, that road was eroded tremendously, and so we are now having works to be done on that road starting this year.
Minister Daniel said another troubling area under their work program this year is the construction of secondary village and feeder roads being carried out by the contractor KDL. Minister Daniel said the project started in December 2019 with a duration of 32 months, and while 2 extensions have already been given to the contractor, the work is far from being completed.
There are 2 contracts. The first contract has 10 roads. The second contract has 12 roads. We are dealing with the first contract. And the first contract is the one that has been given extensive time for completion. And as well, the last extension gives the end date as the 31st of March 2023. And so, as of March 2023, we're expecting all of these roads to be complete. But as I indicated, approximately 1 or so week ago, we had a review of this work. And here it is that you have Belair Village Road, which is 90% complete. You have Calder Main Road, that is almost complete. Just a few minor things here and there. Brighton Saltburn Road, that is complete. The Carrier Road, that is 15% complete. The Connery Road Estate, that is 90% complete. The Montreal Gardens Road, that is 42% complete. The Otley Hall Main Road, that is 15% complete. The Sears Village Road, that is 53% complete. The Enhams Road, that is 5% complete. And the Greg's Lomans Road is complete. In other words, you have of the 10 roads, basically 3 of these roads totally complete. And the others that are pretty close to completion is the Belair Village Road, the Connery Estate Road, and the others, which are approximately halfway or so, is the Montreal Gardens Road and the Sears Village Road. And the ones that are rarely below par is the Carrier Road, the Otley Hall Main Road, and the Enhams. The Enhams Road.
In other news, Invest SVG is working along with the Caribbean Export Development Agency as a support organization, offering local businesses assistance with e-commerce as part of their development strategy through the Virtual E-Commerce Accelerative Program, VEEP. At a news conference yesterday, Advisor for Innovation and Digital Business with the Caribbean Export Development Agency, Philip Jackson, explained more about the 15-month-long initiative.
So the Virtual E-Commerce Accelerator Program, or VEEP, is implemented by the Caribbean Development Agency, Caribbean Export Development Agency, with headquarters in Barbados, but we serve 15 CARIFORUM states. That's 14 member states of CARICOM, excluding Montserrat and Dominican Republic. So we serve 15 member states. And this program is generously funded through the European Union, but directly through Expertise France. And that's why Ms. Emily Griffith is here. So we are here on the second leg of a mission to the region to interact with the business support organizations that are part of the program, as well as the businesses that they work with. So we are targeting 15 member states, and each member state we are targeting 2 business support organizations, and we expect each business support organization to work with at least 5 companies throughout the program.
Jackson said security and trust are important in regards to online businesses, and the VEEP program will be addressing issues of cybersecurity to ensure that there is meaningful trust with customers.
Because people have to trust that they're going to give you their credit card details and that you're not going to use it for nefarious purposes, and that you will deliver what you say. So But the program, the V program, will definitely be addressing issues of cybersecurity within the V program. And I'm sure every other organization that pretends or participating in the digital economy will consider cybersecurity as a #1 priority because of its importance to trust and customer trust, which is really what is going to allow you to develop this sort of meaningful relationship with customers.
Jackson also noted at yesterday's news conference that St. Vincent and Grenadines has benefited through the direct assistance program from the Caribbean Export to support businesses in the COVID-19 era.
Now, St. Vincent and Grenadines have benefited directly. 8 different entities, mainly businesses, have benefited throughout our program. Just from 2017 to 2022 alone, through one of our programs called the Direct Assistance Grant Scheme, we have distributed some $226,890 to various businesses right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And during COVID, we've developed a special program called the Direct Assistance Program, definitely to respond to businesses, to support them through, because COVID has prevented a lot of businesses, and we thought maybe the ability to still reach customers despite the disruptions, and we've provided under that program some $172,817. And more recently, through the Technical Assistance Program, we have provided grant funded to the tune of $24,600. So, and 2 firms receive assistance on this program.
In more local news now, we hear that several women from various non-governmental organizations recently participated in a Taekwondo martial arts training session organized by the Marian House as a new strategy to help to protect women against domestic violence. We hear more in this report, but please be warned that the footage contains some violence which was done for training purposes by trained professionals.
Taekwondonist Glenroy Games dealt with different aspects of the Taekwondo martial arts training, such as defense against dangerous weapons including guns and knives or cutlass, rape, and other forms of physical abuse.
I'm gonna break this, and I'm still going to break this with that.
This formed part of the 5-month training offered by Marian House to educate and empower women and girls on gender-based violence.
So we were taught some strategies that we could apply, and even though we have been conducting this program for the past few months, we have heard of the whole business of persons being killed, women in particular being killed, being targeted by their partners. We are facing a number of challenges referring gender-based violence in our society, and our trainees within the program are supposed to go out as trainers, now that they have been trained, to organize training programs within their individual organizations, within their communities from which they come. They are supposed to be mentors as well in their communities and within their organizations, and they are supposed to be activists and whistleblowers.
The Marian House director says functional groups are needed.
We hope that this training will have some sort of impact, but also we need to look at the establishment or the functioning of youth group within our communities, the establishment and functioning of women's groups, of community groups, so that we can go out and we can train persons and we can run educational programs to educate at all levels, within the secondary schools, within the primary schools, and within even the preschools.
The human rights activist stressed the need to tackle gender-based violence at an early age in the homes.
We have work to do. As parents, we also need to focus and to teach our boys and our girls about relationship building and how to deal with problem solving. The gun, the cutlass, the fist fighting, violence is not the only solution. We have to find alternative ways of dealing with our relationships.
25 representatives from the network of NGOs formed part of the training, a partnership by Marian House, Richmond Vale Academy, and UN Women. Larissa Pugsley-Kidd, SVG TV News.
Thank you, Larissa. And 10 finalists who were selected in the entrepreneurial elite category of the Women Empowerment Project will pitch their business ideas to a panel of judges at a session to be held at the Blue Lagoon Hotel tomorrow, Friday, February 17, 2023. The judges will assess the 10 finalists in several areas, including business feasibility, revenue generation, sustainability, and innovation. At a ceremony on February 3rd, each of the finalists receive a grant of $9,300 at an award ceremony where $243,000 were distributed among 31 women who were among the final cohort of the WEP project, which ran from August to December last year. At tomorrow's event, 3 of the 10 finalists will each win cash prizes of $26,000 and an award. The Women Empowerment Project, which is funded by the Republic of China and Taiwan and implemented through the Taiwan Technical Mission and the Center for Enterprise Development, Inc., began in August 2021, was part of an initiative entitled Assisting the Economic Empowerment of Women in Latin America and the Caribbean in the Post-Pandemic of COVID-19. The objective is to boost the country's economy following the impact of the pandemic and maintain social stability by strengthening women's economic empowerment through employment and entrepreneurship. Speaker of the House of Assembly Rochelle Ford is conducting a school outreach program to improve awareness about the different arms of government, their functions, and the responsibilities of the Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Earlier today, February 16, the team from the House of Assembly visited the George Stevens Secondary School in Connery and the New Adelphi Secondary School and interacted with 3rd and 4th form students. According to a news release from the Agency for Public Information, the Speaker of the House of Assembly has described the outreach program as an opportunity to introduce members of the House of Assembly to the nation's students while improving awareness about the constituent parts of Parliament and to clarify the proceedings of Parliament. Ford said she is optimistic that the school's outreach program will ignite interest in students who may choose a related career path, adding that if Parliament is to be effective in its intention, then it must reach the people. On Wednesday, February 8, 2023, the team visited the Beckway Community High and the Beckway Seventh-day Adventist Secondary Schools, while on February 10th, they visited the Central Leewood Secondary and the Dr. J.P. Eustace Secondary School.